In 3, 2, 1. Will, what's going on, man? We made it here. Now, I just have to apologize to the group. The thing is, we're fitness guys and chemistry guys. In this case, we're not tech guys. So I think we have an excuse, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But we're a little bit behind schedule. That is okay. Anyway, Will, thank you for being here, taking this in your car in the middle of your workday. But the world needs to get a glimpse of your genius. And that's basically what the whole premise of this podcast is really my excuse to learn from experts. Okay. And so I get to build an audience while learning. It's just a great deal. So I'm always excited, and you're of course one of those experts, man. So Will, why don't we just start from like the beginning, man? How did you get into supplements?
So I started working out a little over a decade ago now. And shortly thereafter, whenever I started going to college, and in college, I became fascinated with chemistry. So a couple of years later, I started taking organic chemistry. And from there, you can kind of see that it would kind of help with just looking at supplements. Some supplements are like extracts, plant extracts, but then other supplements, like say caffeine, for instance, you actually know what the chemical structure is. So I became fascinated with that, just looking at all the different chemical structures that supplements have to offer. And, eventually as my knowledge progressed, you can look at these structures and kind of make some determinations as to what these structures are capable of doing in the human body, even how we can possibly change structures to make it a more powerful drug or supplement. Except for supplements, there are certain other requirements. One of the big ones is that they have to be naturally occurring in order to be a valid supplement. But I mean, all in all, it just kind of supplements were like the perfect combination of my interest in chemistry and my interest in working out. So it's really cool that now that I have my own supplement company, I've been able to kind of fuse those together and create what is Leviathan Nutrition and be able to do all this cool stuff.
So and maybe this might make you think, but like, so I had a moment when I realized I loved supplements. Okay. So do you remember the old NO Explode?
Yeah.
You remember NO Explode, right?
Pictures of Ronnie Coleman on the tub.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school stuff. Right. Yeah. So I was at soccer practice. I was probably maybe like 13 years old, and I nutmegged the kid. That means you put the ball through his legs, right? And then you go and you continue playing, and it's very humiliating, right? And he came back at me, and I completely leveled him, and I didn't like him, okay? And this was after the first time I took NO Explode. And from that point, I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. It made me feel superhuman.
That made you feel like a god, dude. Yeah.
Yes. And then I got ready. Remember do you remember Super Pump? After that, Jaspari?
Oh yeah, Super Pump 250, right?
No, yeah, that's what it was. That was my next one.
That was around the time I was on like bodybuilding.com, the forums where it was like exploding. That and No Explode were like the big pre-workouts that everyone was raving about back then. And it's funny to look at products like that back then and compare it to now, and just to see how the market is changing. I mean, people don't use that kind of marketing nowadays, like we did with No Explode, and like trying to make people believe that they can look like Ronnie Coleman and have these like 25-inch biceps with that crazy vascularity.
Insane vascularity, right?
By like taking a tub of No Explode or something. So it's very interesting to see the industry as a whole evolving, and to me evolving for the better, because now I think that education is becoming more valuable, not to mainly to consumers, and then consumers are basically driving that demand for all these big, multi-million-dollar supplement companies to push better ingredients and to be more transparent with their labels.
Right.
So I think that's a great thing, because some companies like BSN, I think BSN's still around. I don't know how. I think they aren't really as popular as they used to be. But companies like that, like BSN, Muscle Tech, now they have to kind of evolve with the industry and make better products and work harder on informing the customers, what exactly these products are going to do, offering better dosages with these products. They're not just showing prop blends anymore. And, they're not just trying to convince you that you can gain 20 pounds of muscle in 4 weeks anymore. Their claims have to be more believable now because people are catching on, man. People are, slowly learning that supplements are a little bit more complex than, going to the store and buying a water bottle or something like that. It's
Right.
like whenever you, my friend put it this way, it's like whenever you go to a restaurant, and you look at the menu, you're not just going to be like, oh, I'm going to order this super burger 3000 or something. Like if that's what
Well
they
done.
put in the restaurant, like with only the name, you're going to be like, well, what's in it? Like, I need to know, like, is it, is there a patty? Is there bread? Is there lettuce? I mean, that's kind of the same analogy with supplements now. You have to look at the label, not just the title. You have to look at the ingredient panel and start breaking it down to see what exactly each of those ingredients are in there, and if they're in there at a high enough dose to actually be able to do something and give you some sort of benefit.
Right. So so I want to actually really follow up and break that down with a question. I'm going to pre-frame this to my audience by saying, Will makes insanely good supplements. Like they are freaking, his formulations are
You as well.
like, no, but there's levels to this, and I am very good, but your formulations are freaking amazing. Okay. And it takes a lot for me to say something like that. There, but so I'm saying that because I want you to speak to the people that I'll give an example. I had an argument with somebody or a conversation. He's like, yeah, supplements, I don't like that crap. I don't need that crap. And essentially the sentiment of what he was saying was just completely wrong, right? Because we can find a supplement that would basically benefit every single human being, whether it was a desire to improve performance, whether it was some kind of micronutrient deficiency, whether it was some kind of hormonal issue, right? Whether it's something with blood sugar, right? Which is a hormonal issue, right? Like there's always going to be a supplement that I would guarantee would create a net positive in like 99% of people, right? So, but at the same time, I can empathize with this person because their impression of the supplement industry is based on 15 years ago and with all the bullshit sports nutrition was. Right. So my question to you here is like, what would you say to a person that categorizes all supplements as garbage?
I mean, I can see how we got there, if you look back at products like that. But then at the end of the day, supplements are really, they have to be ingredients that are found somehow natural. Usually they're found in something that we should be getting from our diet. But, especially in Western culture, look at people's diets. People are eating McDonald's and like this random garbage every day. People aren't paying close enough attention to their diets as they should be. And even those people who are paying close attention to their diets and, gain a wide array of fruits and vegetables, they're still not going to be getting like all of the macronutrients, proper amounts of omega-3s, all these different vitamins and minerals that we really should be getting on a regular basis. So that's when supplements can come in and really offer us an additional benefit there that would be otherwise very hard to get and probably a lot more expensive to be able to get that if it were to come from our diet.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's like one of those things where I think that like people really need to open their mind to benefit from it, and categorizing all supplements as bad would be like categorizing all of a group of certain people as bad. Right.
Exactly.
Which you can't do that. It's just not fair. It's just not right. It just wouldn't serve you best. So let me ask you this, right? Like when you went about formulating your products, Zenith, Visor, is that how you say it? Visor?
Yeah, either one. It's kind of just a word I made up. I just say Visor.
It's a cool sounding word, right?
It looks cool on the tag.
Anything with a Z, right? But so when you're going like about formulating any of these products, like what was your approach in formulating supplements?
I guess first off, it would be considering what kind of supplement I want to make. Like for Visor, for instance, I wanted to make it some sort of potent adaptogen formula. For Ire, I wanted to make it like an all, just like basically a general health product. So you start to look at certain ingredients that kind of meet that criteria, how you can combine these ingredients for them to work better. And then also cost would be another factor. There are a lot of good ingredients that are pretty cheap, And there are also a lot of good ingredients that are pretty expensive. So you kind of have to do that research and figure out, what's going to be the most effective products, the most effective ingredients for the product that you're making,
Right.
and make sure that it makes sense at the end of the day, for how much it costs and for how much the price that you're going to offer it to people for, and make sure
Right.
that you can still profit from it. Especially right now, one issue that is sometimes hard for me is that people in this industry now, they're not really accustomed to paying more than $50 for a product. So if they see, if I come out with a product that's $80 to $100, that's going to turn off a lot of people just because that's how the industry is right now.
Mhm.
Maybe that'll change in the future. So you're kind of in a tough situation there, where most of the other companies are offering products for around $50, but they have like a third of the ingredients that I do,
Right.
or they offer underdose ingredients. So
Right.
I have to make sure that I still am able to make a decent amount of profit at $50 in order to keep my company growing, but still be able to deliver an effective product. So there's a lot of different ways that I do it. I do this. It just involves a lot of research. Um, you know, Involves a lot of talking with manufacturers, with suppliers. What's the lowest price that we can get for this, and still be sure that we're getting the proper ingredients, that we're getting those ingredients tested, and making sure that they are actually what they claim to be. And then I released a little video about this 2 weeks ago. I usually try to stay away from trademarked ingredients in general, just as a general rule of thumb, because trademarked ingredients, you can look at it this way: they're usually
Wait, well, I'm sorry.
they're
I don't
adding.
want to interrupt, but I want to make sure our audience is clear. So, like, if you look at the back of a supplement bottle, you'll see, like, oftentimes, like, there'll be like a TM next to the ingredient with a very
Yeah,
like a name, like a different name than what the actual ingredient is. And
right.
what that is, a trademark ingredient, is kind of like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Will, it's like the pharma version versus the generic version of a pharmaceutical drug, right?
Basically, there's a at the end of the day, what that means though is that you're adding another person into the supply chain. So that's always going to increase the cost. Some trademarked ingredients are very good, and they're very unique in what they offer. A good example of this is something like Baso 6 from Compound Solutions, or Tea Cream from them also. These are unique ingredients. They have that they're fundamentally different in how they work and what they are, compared
Right.
to standard ingredients that are in that same kind of profile. But then there's also other trademarked ingredients out there that, they have this cool branding, they have a cool logo and everything. But whenever you actually look at the data that the company's offering, it's really just a generic ingredient. It's still a generic ingredient. They just have slapped a cool name on it. They don't test it for anything that the normal ingredient would fail testing at. So it's basically just making your product 2 to 3 times more expensive,
Right.
without any additional benefit. So that's just something that you really have to look at and consider, if you want to add a trademark ingredient, if it's really going to justify the cost of benefit there.
Absolutely. So one of the cool things that both of us did that I noticed, right, and this is why I was always so turned on by your formulations, is you paired ingredients together because they made sense scientifically, not because everybody else has done it before. Okay.
Right.
Like, so for example, like in Quantum Mind, I have ALA and Alcar paired together, right? There's a great synergy in terms of the benefit it has on mitochondrial function, right? That's a scientific reason, right? Like, I didn't pair, I don't know, I don't even know one to make, but I didn't pair two ingredients together because another company did it. And I find that when people formulate, they're doing that, and then they're trying to show innovation in hindsight with their marketing. And it's like, that's not fucking innovation. That's just marketing,
Yeah,
right? Like,
and they're just following. That's a lot of, in this industry. You just see a lot of people going around in the circle, following each other, as they don't really understand the fundamentals behind it. A good example of that, combination of ingredients that you're talking about, would be something like estrogen and piperine, or bioperine, which are
yeah, yeah,
both
yeah.
trademarked ingredients. So they offer them both, and they say, oh, this is going to make this product more basically more efficient, make the ingredient more powerful, the other ingredients that are already in that product. Well, sometimes this is true. Both of these ingredients act very differently, and I have a lot of like explanations and videos, especially on piperine, how exactly piperine works. It works by inhibiting a certain enzyme in your body that breaks down a lot of different drugs or supplements. But there are also quite a few supplements.
I hope I didn't lose you. No. And guys, looks like we are having some technology errors, which is no good. Let's see. Will, did I lose you? Let's see here. Guys, I think I lost Will. Yep. All right. So I lost Will because of his internet, seems like. But it's all good. You guys can see me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh's right, Deb. It's all good. So, Will, did I lose you? All right. So I'm actually going to continue with the point that he was making. We're talking about ingredient synergies that are just put in place for the sake of being put in place. He was talking about these two specific ingredients, estrogen and piperine. And in some cases, the synergy of them in a supplement is constructive. In other cases, depending on the ingredient profile, it's not constructive. So that's one of the things that a lot of supplement companies, yeah, he just messaged me. His phone overheated. That's one of the things a lot of supplement companies do, is that they'll try and use synergies that other companies have used because they're easily marketable. So anyway, guys, one thing while we are waiting for Will to come back is go follow him on his social media and his YouTube. He's got some insanely good videos about each of these compounds. Yeah, I can. Listen, you're leaving me and I'm out here promoting your social media.
Okay, sorry about that. My phone overheated, so I'm just gonna hold it in front of the air condition. It's not messing with the audio, is it? I think the audio is
perfect.
Okay, great. So where did it cut off?
Estrogen and piperine, and why that's not appropriate in some cases.
Okay, so a good example of something like piperine, where it's not really going to benefit you in making products more efficient, would be stimulants. A lot of stimulants like caffeine, the phenethylamines, things like hormonine. Those are not broken down by this particular enzyme that piperine inhibits. It's broken down by another enzyme. So if you see something like piperine in a pre-workout, which I see a lot of pre-workouts with estrogen and piperine just for marketing's sake, it's not really going to do anything in extending the life of these stimulants. So that's just one example. But you just see companies blindly applying the same formula over and over again because that's what these ingredients are marketed as, and that's what people believe it to do. And that's another reason for IRE, we only have estrogen. We do not have piperine in the product anymore. This was mostly due to the trademark holders of Longvita. They didn't allow us to have piperine in there because it interferes with their kind of marketing claim for Longvita. But for that particular ingredient, it also makes sense because Longvita is specially formulated not to be broken down by liver metabolism. It actually gets absorbed through the lymphatic system. So that's how it enters systemic circulation and then becomes active. So if you're combining something like piperine with a highly fat-soluble ingredient, chances are the highly fat-soluble ingredient is going to be entering your system through the lymphatic system instead, and not being broken down in the liver, which is where piperine would be doing its work.
Right. So essentially, okay. So I think essentially what you're saying to consume, because what I'm trying to detect here is like, how does a consumer recognize that?
Right.
Or is that a problem with the industry that needs to get eradicated?
Yeah, mostly the latter. I mean, you can't expect consumers to know this stuff
Right.
whenever 95% of the companies don't even know it either. So
That's fair.
It's a tough situation. That's why whenever I have products, I like to show people like actual studies,
Right.
just to show like, hey, this is what this ingredient does. We actually have studies that document its benefits when it's used actually in humans at a specific dose. It's not some rat study where they use 20 times the dose that would even be possible for a human to consume, which is something that a lot of companies also do. So it's just trying to convey that knowledge in an easily digestible form for consumers.
Right.
That's really the biggest challenge in this industry to me, because it's not, science isn't black and white. There's a lot of gray area involved, and for something as complex as like human metabolism, it requires a lot of trial and error, a lot of research, to be able to draw these things. So it's an ever evolving branch of knowledge, basically.
And that's the challenge that we're always facing, is between product development and honest but effective marketing, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because for example, like I've had an ex-coach who is completely failing at his business, right? And he's hating on me for some of the success that I've been having because of the way I've been marketing myself, right? And I think one of the problems that happens oftentimes is when people go after the wrong people for marketing, if that makes sense, especially when at the other end of it, there's a good product, right? And I think that where we really need to collectively go after is the people that are falsely marketing or underdosing things, right? Like I'll give an example. There's a supplement that is on Amazon. It's a nootropic. It's called Brain Booster. Okay.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So they used a launch and they shot way up to the ranking. They got like 5 ingredients. First of all, they just copied the formulation from another top ranking. It's called NeuroPeak.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, I just noticed in general on Amazon, I've seen kidney products on there where there's like 10 different products. They all have the exact same formula down to the very exact same proprietary blend. Amazon is quite a shit show for supplements.
It's disgusting, right? Yeah, right. This product had cyanocobalamin. Okay. For a period of time, it had kava in it till that had to get removed. Right. And the thing is, it was like they were saying, take it every day. It's like, really, take kava every day? Right. So like, okay,
well,
so
they make more money if you take it every day because you have to buy it more and more. So of course they're going to tell you that.
Right. What is the solution to this kind of like product development versus marketing kind of conundrum we're in, if you will?
Kind of tough. I mean,
tough question.
For me, yeah, exactly. But I mean, one thing that I tend to notice about these kind of companies with disingenuine marketing, and then crappy formulations is that, sometimes they can make big profits, but they usually don't last. Look at Qualia. That's the name of the company, right? Or is that
Neal Thakkar Collective? Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're broke now. I remember because I've seen ads for them asking people who want to invest in their company.
No, they're doing crowdfunding. They're doing crowdfunding. That's all. I think it's just expansion capital. Okay. I would have been so happy because I called it from the start, just like I call with Shreds, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, just companies like that, man. I mean, they're trying to offer like 30 different ingredients in a product, but look at the dosages, like none of those dosages are going to be effective. and they always have these big name influencers pushing their products. These guys are probably spending a fortune on advertising. They'll probably trick some people, but if people don't notice a product actually making their life better in some form, they're not really going to be repeat buyers.
Right.
You'll maybe get a few first-time buyers, and then they take it, they don't notice anything, they don't like it, and then they'll go somewhere else. So for me, I just always try to be genuine. It's my company is almost 3 years old now. It's we're still growing slowly, but we're still growing. It was a slow start, but always just try to be like, this is my, this is the product I put together. This is all the research that supports why it should work and everything. And we have things like blood work to show it actually working. And people like that. I think a big crowd of people do like that. It's just a matter of bringing in those people who are not as familiar to supplements and who are newer to this industry, and they're more prone to that type of like expensive and like flashy marketing. But I think at the end of the day, it's always just best to be more genuine, because slower growth is better than going broke in a couple of years. And that way you really build a connection with people. I have customers who still buy with me after like 2 years.
Right.
Like 50% of my customer base are all return customers. So
Right.
I think that really speaks on something. And then that way, you don't really have to spend that much on marketing either. Like I still don't do any kind of Facebook ads or anything like that. A lot of my quote unquote marketing is just word of mouth. And I know I'm going to throw a name in here. Morphogen is another supplement company that I really respect. And that's basically how Ben does his marketing too. He still doesn't, he's a much bigger company than me. And he still doesn't, do paid advertising or anything like that, just because at this point, so many people know about his products. They know how good the products are, that, they're probably going to be his customers for life. And they trust you from that. Once you build that trust, people are going to trust you from that point on. Any new product that you make, they're going to trust that you know what you're doing.
Right.
I've even heard people say that about me, how sometimes I have these trademark ingredients in my products that they've never seen before, but since it's me that's making it, they trust why I put it in there, so they're still going to get the product, which, means a lot to me. That's really cool to see. So
yeah,
that's kind of the solution that I have.
Yeah, reputation is everything. I think really I think essentially what you're saying is, one is that if you have a good product, stick it out, because it will last. Because people, that's the thing. People keep coming back for Quantum Mind. People keep coming back for it. So I guess solution one is just stick it out as a founder. Solution two is get good and better at formulation, and three is get good and better at marketing, but just keep it genuine always.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually work with Justin Hall from Supplement Snoop and Brady, the CEO of Azith, with helping to build my company. We started working together back in September, I think, of 2019. But before that, I was kind of looking around for people to work with for marketing and just how I could grow my company better. And I had a couple of people, and they were all the same, dude. That's why Justin and Brady really stuck out to me, because they know this industry. They saw what I was offering, and they offered a more unique solution to how I should grow. They didn't just suggest that I do Facebook marketing right off the bat, offer some sort of click funnel and everything like every other company does.
Right.
So it really depends on your company, and your profits at that point, and your margins, all of that, to decide what's the best step that you need to take for your company to grow. And companies that just offer the same blanket approach for marketing, and they were going to charge me a lot more than what I'm currently paying too. It's usually they don't really care too much about seeing you succeed. They just want your money.
Right. Well, and so we just started running some Facebook ads for Quantum Mind, and they're not crushing it. When we exploded with Quantum Mind, at least, obviously Amazon was one channel, but way before that, and actually the thing that made Amazon go was So I sent a sample out to at least like 1,000 people. Okay. And I had a full out conversation with all 1,000 people. I can safely say that every single person that got a sample, I had a relationship with. Right.
Right.
And like I would post, I post in places, hey, send me your address and email address, and I'll send a sample out to you, and I'll get a message with an address, right? And I would always reply, "How are you doing?" I would never say, "Okay, cool, sending it out." Like I always wanted to make sure I knew how the person was doing, and that was really important to me. You know who does this really well? Jay Cutler does this really well. I met Jay Cutler.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he spoke
Jay's
to
a
me.
stand-up guy, man.
He really is, right? He spoke to my girlfriend for like 7 minutes, who's super nervous just because simply he was such a large person next to her.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I think that people see that, and I think that's what makes a company last for a long time.
Yeah. I posted too. What was it? Jay saw me on some podcast once, and then he followed me on Instagram. I was like, oh shit, it's Jay Cutler. And then like right then I DM'd him like, hey Jay, I have this product that's specifically for bodybuilders. I want to see if you want to try it out. And just, I want to send him some product, have him take it for a month or so and see how he likes it and stuff first. But I mean, I sent the product a couple days later. He made a story about it. He's like, thank you for sending me this product. And I guess he had heard about it before. But like, I didn't even ask him to make that story, man. I mean, it's just really cool when someone of his level would actually take the time out of their day to do something like that for me. That was probably the greatest moment so far that I've had with this whole experience with my company. It's just really, really cool for him to do that. So,
It's because your supplements are dope, man. I
always have a lot of respect for it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if it's kind of like if you build it, they will come. Like I have, I sponsored Joe Sullivan, Pete Rubish, Stan McQuay. A lot of these guys are pretty big names, because they've heard of my supplements and they, I don't offer that much profit. I'm sure many other companies can offer more money to them, but they really believe in what I'm doing, and that just I can't put into words like how much that means to me. That's just really fucking cool. So it makes me hopeful about the future.
No, it's definitely amazing when people get aligned with your vision, man. So speaking of your vision, so it's my last question to you is what is next in terms of formulation for Leviathan? Like what's the next products coming out?
So it's kind of been put on the back burner because I do need a restock on Iron and Tadka, which are my two best selling products so far. But we're still like negotiating with the manufacturer, getting the contracts down, close to paying for that. But I do have a kidney product coming out soon,
Nice.
Within the next month or so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I haven't really talked about the formula for that. I'm going to whenever we get closer to release, but it is pretty fundamentally different than other type of kidney products out there, and especially for my market, because it's just more. I'm more geared towards health, organ health, that sort of thing. I think a lot of people are going to like it. And also we spent a little more time on, making the labels nice and that sort of thing, which is something I'm also focused on now, just to help us grow as a company and to help us get more notice in things like retail. Presentation is more important there. So I'm really excited about that. And definitely want to talk about the science behind this formulation, because I haven't seen other companies using a similar formula to what I have in that product. So it'll be really cool.
Very, very applicable for bodybuilders as well, and really just anybody who is,
Right.
I mean, just anyone who wants a kidney health supplement for various reasons, particularly dietary reasons. But
exactly.
That's exciting. That's exciting, and that actually may be a staple for many of our clients. So.
Yeah. And after that, there's actually another product that I was working on previously, but I decided to go with the kidney product first. I do want to make some sort of digestion product, but it's still a ways off. I still need to work on the formulation for that. There's a lot of newer research just behind. I don't want to go too in depth, but there's a lot of new research behind digestive supplements. Things like probiotics. There's kind of debate about how effective are probiotics, and if they have sort of negative effects too. So that's something that I need to look more into before before I would go into something like that. But
Right.
we'll
Right.
see where it goes. You know, I always just want to make sure I do my due diligence and
Yeah.
in researching and staying up to date before I release a product. Because the most important thing is that the product that I make actually works. If it doesn't work, you know, people are going to notice. So
There is no rush in making a supplement, and I make that very clear to everybody on the team. We
yeah,
do not rush when we
exactly.
formulate. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you're spending a lot of money, you know, in getting that done. So you got to make sure that things are done correctly,
absolutely.
or else you're gonna be struggling.
Right. That's for sure. That is for sure, man. So, Will, last thing, where can everybody find you?
Um, you can find, I guess, Instagram would be the first thing. I'm pretty active on there. My Instagram handle is at W Whitlock Fitness. Whitlock is spelled Whitlock, and then fitness. And you can follow Leviathan Nutrition on Instagram
Boom.
at Leviathan Nutrition. It's all one word there. And then you can, of course, visit our site, leviathan-nutrition.com. If you want to check out the site, check out our products, you know, that's how you go about it.
Love it. Love it. Well, as always, man, it's fun. It's always a good time. I think we kept it a little bit PG-13. We didn't shit on as many people as I wanted to, but we could do that another time for sure.
Oh yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunities for that in this
I
industry.
thoroughly enjoy doing that with you, man.
Me too, dude.
But I enjoyed this a lot, man. Thank you so much. And as always, we'll be in touch.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on.
Take care, Will.
You know, anytime you want to do it again, just let me know.
Always. Take care, brother.
All right, man. See you later.